For latest astrology videos, subscribe AstroEdify channel and press this bell icon to get notified when a new video goes live.
Hello everybody, welcome to AstroEdify. Today we are going to discuss that what happens when Mercury is in the sign of Pisces in anybody's horoscope. So let's start this video. If you want to book a consultation for yourself, you can go on this website. The link is given in the description. So today we are going to discuss about the results of Mercury in the sign of Pisces. So first of all, let's understand that what is Mercury, what are the things that it represents. See, Mercury and Moon are the two only planets which are highly sensitive in nature, and they change their results. They have a wide spectrum of variety in their results based upon the influence of other planets, zodiac signs, nakshatras and houses upon them. So Mercury in general represents our intelligence, memory, learning capability. Jupiter and Mercury together, they control our education, because without learning ability, without ability to communicate and perceive the language, and nobody can be able to understand very much. Okay, so it is our grasping power and our retention as well, which is without which you cannot pursue your education. So that is why Mercury becomes a important factor when it comes to one's education apart from Jupiter. Then Mercury here is a planet which controls our communication. So it shows any kind of language through which the communication is possible. So any kind of language throughout the world is controlled by Mercury because it is a symbol of communication. Then any kind of other communication which is apart from verbal, like written communication. So Mercury is a planet of writing as well. Means of communication means any kind of mediums through which people can connect with each other. So means of communication, like means of transport, we can move from one city to another city with the help of means of various transports, whether it is land or air or water. Everything is controlled by Mercury because it is connecting one place to another, one person to another, which is who are at long distance from each other. So Mercury is the controller of that, significator of that. Then Mercury is also the planet which directly controls media and any kind of number related fields. It is a planet of calculation, numbers, mathematics, analysis, logic, reasoning, calculation, sharpness. Your quick wit is seen through Mercury. It is a planet of detailing, keen observation, ideas, innovation. Your thoughts are generated by Mercury and Moon together. So in general, Mercury is a planet of intellect, and it generates the thought. But Moon also plays a very important role there. Then apart from this, Mercury also is a natural planet of trade, commerce, business, speculation, computers, any kind of commercial activity which is going on around us. So it controls banking, business, trade, any kind of flow of goods within the economy is seen through Mercury. Accounting sector controlled by Mercury. Also Mercury, if we talk about our body, there also it plays a very vital role because it controls our nervous system and brain. So each and every aspect of our sensory control goes under the domain of Mercury. All the data collection and its process and computation is controlled by Mercury because it is the controller of brain and nervous system, central nervous system as well as peripheral nervous system. All of the aspects are within Mercury. So you can now think that how important it is. Then it is also the controller of respiratory system, ear, nose and throat, skin and hands. So Mercury represents this if we talk about our body. Now let's talk about the sign of Pisces. What does it control and represents? So Pisces naturally is the sign of 12th house according to Purush Kundali, and Jupiter is the controller of Pisces, and it is a water sign. So this sign of Pisces has a mixture of water sign, of Jupiter as well as the 12th house aspects. So here Pisces represent a spiritual dimension, a dimension which is unknown, yet it exists. We know that it exists because we can perceive it, we can feel it. We cannot see to it with our eyes, but we know that it is there. So that kind of dimension which you know that okay, it is there, but I can feel it, I know that it is there, but I cannot see it with my own eyes. So it is a sign of visualization, imagination, creativity, dreams, subconscious mind, your anything which is beyond sensory perception. Okay, so, it is also a sign of yoga, dhyan means meditation in general. If we talk about, actually in Hindi the terms are different. So the terms are dhyan, the yoga, samadhi. In English the only one term will be there, that is meditation. Apart from that, it represents our inner sense of emptiness. Okay, we have everything, yet we feel that okay, something is there which is missing out, something is there due to which I am dissatisfied. That is represented by Pisces, and it is a sign which is a sign of high spirituality, divine knowledge, moksha. If the main term in English is enlightenment. And also materially, if we talk about, it is the sign of losses. 12th house is the house of losses and expenditure, so any kind of loss. If spiritually, it shows loss of desires, loss of degeneracies, means the 6 enemies of man, the vikars which we call out. But materially, it shows any kind of material loss possible, any kind of material loss possible can be seen through this. With the if we talk about our body, it controls our feet and lymphatic system. This is what Pisces is. Okay, so we have seen what Mercury is and what is Pisces. Now let's talk about what happens when Mercury is in the sign of Pisces. So the first thing here is that this is a debilitation sign for Mercury. So Mercury here, the people who are familiar with astrology, they know that Mercury is debilitated in the sign of Pisces, and hence it is a highly vulnerable position for Mercury, where it is totally dependent on the placement of Jupiter and Moon in the chart. If Moon and Jupiter are well placed, then Mercury will give good results here. We will talk about it later on, but the thing here is that let's talk about why Mercury is debilitated in this sign, why this particular sign, and that too, this is a sign of Jupiter. Jupiter is a planet of knowledge, Jupiter is a planet of wisdom, Mercury is a planet of learning, Mercury is a planet of grasping. So why the planet of learning is feeling debilitated in a sign of a planet which represents knowledge and higher wisdom? And so the main reason here is that Mercury's nature is materialistic. Okay, Mercury is a total materialistic planet, and it is the ruler of our intellect, logic, reasoning, calculation and objectivity, our sensory perception. So if Mercury has to understand something, it will go in deep detail, it will speculate a lot. With the help of intellect, it will grasp. Mercury grasps only with the help of intellect, by deciphering and decoding it with logic. Okay, so Mercury always utilizes its capability, its own what you can say, qualities of logic and crude objectivity, always, in order to understand something, in order to imbibe something, grasp something totally. And here Mercury feels very difficult to do that. Why? Because Pisces is a sign which represents a spiritual dimension, which cannot be understood with the help of intellect, logic, reasoning and sensory perception and objectivity. It is beyond that. So it is a reality, it is a dimension, it is a realm which is there, but you cannot reach there with these qualities of Mercury. And that is why Mercury feels very agitated, because you just imagine that it is like a person who has keen belief in calculation, in mathematical approach, in deduction, in logic, and he is put in such a position where he knows that okay, something is there out there which exists, but I'm not able to decipher it, I'm not able to understand its nature, I'm not able to grasp it, and then that person feels quite agitated. And that is the same situation here Mercury falls in. That is why it gets debilitated. But the important thing here is that if Jupiter provides its support to Mercury here, then this position of Mercury becomes very positive. in behavior, and we can expect quite good results here, and in some cases quite extraordinary and excellent results also in terms of knowledge, in terms of personal or professional life. It could be anything, it depends on the chart, but the main thing is that in general it will have full capability to give positive results now if Jupiter gives the support, because Jupiter is the controller of that realm. So Jupiter gives the support to Mercury. Okay, you have the capability, you are a serious learner, yet you are not able to do that with your intellect, with your objectivity, but I will help you. And Mercury, one basic trait where Mercury always which is actually it is a most beneficial aspect of Mercury is that it is a keen learner, always a keen learner. So Mercury is always keen to learn about anything. Only thing is that it should get the support from the other planet or the house in which it is sitting. So here if it gets the support of Jupiter, who is the controller of Pisces, it gives quite good results also. So now we can see we are going to actually bifurcate the results here in two parts. First, the positive results which can be expected if Mercury is in this sign and it is well placed, Jupiter and Moon are supporting it. Then what kind of results can be expected, and at last we will discuss that if Jupiter and Moon are badly placed in the chart, Mercury is afflicted in the chart, then what kind of results can be expected. And as I said, this is a highly vulnerable situation for Mercury, so here results can be expected in extremes. Extremes means either very positive or very negative, so both possibilities are there. Now let's start with the first case here. Now if Mercury is in Neech Bhanga Raj Yoga, means cancellation of debilitation is happening here in the chart. I have made this video on Neech Bhanga Raj Yoga, you can see it in the playlist of the channel. So if Mercury is making Neech Bhanga Raj Yoga where the debilitation gets cancelled and it has the support of Moon and Jupiter in the chart, then it can give very good results, auspicious results in fact sometimes, and otherwise as I said negative results can be expected if Mercury is in this sign and Jupiter and Moon do not support it. Now you have to see the whole horoscope, see the other combinations and yogas for the positivity and negativity of the results and the intensity of them. So if they are positive, then how much intensity will be there of those results, and if it is negative, then how much intensity will be there. You have to check the other yogas for that. Now let's take our first case. The thing here is that if Mercury is well placed in this chart, in the chart of anybody, it has full support of Jupiter and Moon, or it is making Neech Bhanga Raj Yoga, then it makes person quite creative, imaginative, innovative, and it will give unusual style of thinking, unusual style of observation, analysis, calculation, interpretation. Person will have a what you can say different, a peculiar style of seeing to things, a different approach to seeing the things, not like normal people. That will be there, and it could be in any field. It could be in any field. I am not talking about only in scientific perspective. It could be in any area. It could be literature. It could be arts. It could be religion. It could be spirituality. So along with science, there are various varied other streams where Mercury has the capability to give that kind of unusual and peculiar thinking and a distinct way of observation, much more different from normal public. So that can be seen here with this particular alignment. And here one very good thing here is that Mercury now here is not focused on keen details. It is focused on keen details later on, but the thing here is that Mercury is now focused on a pattern, a wide pattern. It is going to see a whole picture instead of just one pixel. Okay, Mercury is exalted in Virgo, so there Mercury is just like a sharp knife. Mercury goes direct into the detail. So if you are seeing a picture, a person with Mercury in Virgo will always point out to the flaw or to the main problem of that picture. It will see to the pixel. And the person who appreciates beauty, who has Mercury in his Pisces, will see the whole picture and appreciate the beauty, appreciate the sense of that picture. This is just one example what I am giving. So the main thing here is that the ability is to seek a pattern instead of going into intricate details of that particular concept or that particular subject or any kind of field. So this is a very good aspect here. And one thing which I remember right now, Dr. Albert Einstein, he had his Mercury in Pisces in the 10th house. So the genius of all time, he had this Mercury debilitated, but it was, of course, it was making quite good position. It is in Neej Bhanga, it is in the 10th house, it is well placed. But the main aspect here is that you can see that he had that capability of doing intricate calculations and detailing. But the main thing is to seek a pattern through his visualization, imagination, creativity. A peculiar way of observation was there. So that kind of particular result can be seen here in Mercury in Pisces. And one more thing, it makes person very curious in nature, curious about a lot of things. It could depend on other planets, but a person will be very curious naturally in order to know. The reason for curiosity is that Mercury is a natural learner. It wants to learn. It wants to attain the knowledge as much as possible. And Pisces is a sign which represents the things which are hidden, which are unknown, which are there but you do not know them, and you cannot know them because of your sensory perception. They are beyond that. You have to imagine them, you have to visualize them, and then here it makes person more curious. So if Mercury is strongly placed in the chart in this sign, it makes person curious, but also gives person a strong imagination in order to know about that thing for which he or she is curious. Okay, one more thing, it makes person intuitive as well, but for that you have to see other yogas. Also it gives foresightedness. Why? Here you cannot see foresightedness if Mercury is debilitated, but you can if Mercury is well placed. If Mercury has the support, it will make the person foresighted. Person will be able to think beyond the present. That is why. One more thing, it also provides a strong emotional intelligence, but for this you have to check the placement of moon. Without the placement of moon we cannot say this, but still it has one kind of tendency. It has one what you can say ability to give this kind of result. That is why I am telling you. Apart from this, here solitude, music, nature, art, natural beauty or any kind of beauty, literature, these kind of things or aspects, they bring mental peace to the person. They boost their thinking process and ability to perceive, imagine and visualize. So this is a very positive aspect here, because Pisces is a sign of isolation. Pisces is a sign of merging in the unknown, merging in spirituality, merging in a dimension which you know that is there, which you connect with, but you cannot see to it with your naked eyes. So here these kind of what you can say indulgence in these fields or behavior motivates the person to actually not motivates, mainly it brings mental calmness, mental peace, satisfaction, and it boosts the ability to perceive, imagine and visualize. Okay, apart from that, it is good for attaining any kind of knowledge here. It depends on Jupiter's placement. It could be any field. It could be a scientific field, any kind of scientific subject, whether it is physics, chemistry, biology, any kind of subject, or it is literature or religion or philosophy or of commerce or finance or management. It could be any field. It could be medicine even. So that field depends on the placement and the yogas of other planets which are making in the chart. But here in general, if Mercury is strongly placed, Jupiter is well placed, it is good for attaining knowledge of various subjects, multiple subjects and multiple fields, not just restricted to one. Person will have multiple interest. It could be anything. That depends on other planets, but this is a good placement for attaining as much wisdom, as much knowledge as possible in one's life. One more thing, the style of communication is controlled by Mercury. How we speak, how we express. So style of communication also will be dependent on Jupiter's placement. Okay. So if Jupiter is well placed, then the communication, style of communication will be intellectual, factual, reserved, somewhat peculiar and unusual, but with a clear style. And if it is not well placed, then what will happen? It could give difficult communication, like people who are not able to speak properly, who are mute, or who face stammering problems. That can be seen here. Any kind of speech disorders or difficulties, language or learning disabilities can be seen. Otherwise, it also can give a bad speech, a harsh speech, a confused or fickle and poor expression can be seen here if it is not well placed. But if it is well placed, very good aspect can be given by the Mercury placement. Now next thing here is that if in the chart there are some good spiritual yogas happening in the horoscope, then this placement of Mercury is good for practicing Jnana Yoga and Raj Yoga, and also for Atma Bodh, that is self-realization. If Ketu's influence is there, then it gives a strong intuitive power also. You have to check the placement of moon. Moon is very important for that. But if Ketu is there, specifically in 3rd, 8th, 9th and 12th house, and you have to see the moon. If moon is also in such a situation, then it gives a strong intuitive power to the person. Apart from that, if Mercury is responsible for career of anybody in the chart, then there are various options, various career fields for which it is considered auspicious. It could be mathematics, science, any kind of scientific field, any kind can be seen here. It is good for research, because 12th house is what? Delving into the unknown, and research is what? To find something which is not known. So research, medicine, healthcare sector, psychology, consultancy, any kind of consultancy, technical consultancy, non-technical consultancy, business consultancy, it depends. Any kind of consultancy is good. It is good for teaching and education sector, banking, finance, management, shipping, marine industry can be seen, import export is there, transportation is there, logistics, supply chain is there. Because 12th house is the house of overseas, and Pisces controls it. It is a water sign also, that's why. Apart from that, it shows it is good for aviation industry as well. Then Mercury is a controller of communication, and this is a sign of Pisces is a sign of creativity. So communication plus creativity, we can see mass communication, media, marketing. It is good for arts, any kind of arts, literature, films, entertainment, music, dance, philosophy, writing, astrology, yogis. We can see with this particular alignment. So these are various fields for which Mercury is considered quite auspicious if it is placed in the Pisces sign. So these are the results what we can expect when Mercury is in the sign of Pisces and it has full support of Jupiter and Moon in the chart. These are the positive results which we have talked about. Now we are going to discuss the aspect of Mercury and the results which we can expect if Mercury is placed here and Jupiter and Moon are also, Jupiter, Moon and Lagna Lord, Ascendant Lord are also not well placed. They are not giving any support to Mercury, or Mercury and these planets are afflicted in the chart, in the birth chart or in the D9 chart, and some negative combinations are happening there, some inauspicious dashas are going on. Then if we then there are varied results which we can expect, which will of course be negative in nature. But my purpose here, we will discuss here, or I will tell you all the results. But before moving ahead, I want to give you a what you can say warning here, is that all the results which I am going to tell you now, this is treat it as an information source, because I am just portraying you the wide variety of results that one placement of Mercury in Pisces can give. All the permutation and combinations possible. I don't know that how your Mercury is placed, in which house it is placed, in which nakshatra it is placed, how it is placed in Navamsha chart, what kind of yogas it is making, where is Jupiter, Moon and Lagna Lord, how they are placed. I don't know that. But what I am giving you is the information, the all kind of possibilities, all kind of results which one planet Mercury can give in the sign of Pisces. You have to check the whole horoscope for that. So don't directly jump to conclusions, because they will be false. So that is why I have given you this warning first. And now we are going to discuss all the traits which will of course be negative in nature, which Mercury can give. And people with these kind of problems, are there in our society, we cannot deny that. And astrology is a science which has one objective: to show how a person truly is. You cannot escape. You can portray a different image to other people, but you cannot hide yourself from yourself. So you cannot move away from your own chart. So the thing here is, if negative traits are there, they are there because people with such problems are there in the society. Okay, so now let's discuss, if Mercury is in the sign and Jupiter, Moon and Lagna Lord are not well placed, then what happens? And one more thing, the results, all kind of results which I will tell you, all kind of negative results won't be there in one particular person's life. Don't think like that. If Mercury is badly placed, then all kind of negative results will be there. It will be a rare case. It will be mixture, but most of the times, yeah, the proportion of negative results will be higher if yogas are bad. But the main thing is that you have to check the intensity. I already told you in the beginning of this video that for that you have to check the intensity, and for that you have to see the other yogas. So the more negative yogas, the more negative intensity will be there. Now the results which we can expect here is that if Mercury is badly placed, then it gives poor learning ability, low intelligence, poor memory, learning disorders, speech disorders, education problems in education. Either the education is not able to, person is not able to do the education properly, or there are too much gaps in education, or there is no education at all. Decision making is highly affected. There is no concentration. Confusion is very high. Emotional imbalance is there. Daydreaming most of the time. A person is lost in daydreams, not able to accept the reality, not able to see the things with the practical eye. So that kind of results can be happening here. One more thing is that Mercury is our thoughts and thinking, so it can give a person quite low, mean, narrow, selfish, corrupt and vile thinking. It enhances the negative traits in the personality. It has that capability. What kind of negative traits? Greed, attachment, jealousy, deceit, ingratitude, lies, bad speech or harsh speech. Any kind of speech disorders, as I mentioned, that can be seen here along with bad speech. Then it can also make person blinded by Maya, and it can make person a slave of wealth and pleasure only. Person will never understand the essence of knowledge, which happens when Mercury is well placed in the chart, in this sign only. But if it is badly placed, person will always be, most of the times, what you can say, blinded by materialism, Maya, and most of the times will only think about achieving and attaining wealth and pleasures only. Animalistic traits will be higher rather than humanistic traits. One more thing, Buddhi means Mercury is Buddhi. Buddhi means your intellect, your decision making capability. It will be wrong. Person will always go towards those things and will take decision in those fields or aspects which will be against him or her, which will not be good for him or her. That can be seen here. Apart from that, if we talk about the health, it can create severe problems, health issues, specifically any kind of mental and neurological developmental disorders. Mental, neurological and developmental disorders can be seen here. Respiratory problems, skin disorders can be seen here. So I have told you each and every aspect, but again, remember the warning, don't jump to conclusions. See all the chart, see whole horoscope. So my purpose here is to give you the information of one planet in one particular sign and show you all possibilities of results which it can give. And that I think that you would have understood by now what I have said. So that's all from my side in this video. For the results of Mercury in Pisces, I think that you would have understood by now what kind of results we can expect here. So if you are new to my channel, subscribe below for more. Check on my website and Facebook page. Otherwise, we will meet in the next video. Till then, goodbye and thank you.